Okay, so this review is for the new AnkerWork B600 video bar, an all-in-one solution that combines a webcam, a microphone, speakers, and a light into a single device. In a world where so many of us now work from home, there's certainly an increase in demand for improving your home video setup. So this product aims to tick all of the boxes for good quality video streaming. I'll be covering everything you get in the box, every feature this video bar has, with some video and audio samples of course, and I also want to touch on why you might still be interested in this device, even though so many of us already work on laptops with built-in cameras. Crucially though, we'll be answering the question, is the new Anker video bar worth $220? So let's start with the unboxing, which offers an experience to match that price tag and gives you everything you need to get set up and running. We have the regular paperwork like the Quick Start Guide, wall adapters for the UK, US and European regions, a USB-C mains power supply, along with a C2C data transfer cable, and finally the video bar itself. So the video bar, as you can see, is pretty big and bulky, and that's because it's packing speakers, microphones, a light, and the camera into one device. On the underside you'll see this adjustable base, which you can use to mount the bar to your monitor. It rotates fully and folds, so you can get the angle just right. It's also removable and comes with a standard 1/4" screw mount, so you can either set this up with a monitor or on a tripod, whatever suits your setup. If you don't have a monitor, then this video bar is going to be way too big to try and balance on a laptop, so a tripod could be a good option for that situation. On the front, this cover folds open to reveal the camera lens and the light bar on top. In this way, it doubles up as a physical privacy cover, which I really like. Many of us are conscious about leaving our webcam lenses completely exposed, so this way you can physically block it off when you're not using it. On the back side we have two USB-C ports, one for power and one for the data feed, and also a USB-A port for connecting, say, a wireless receiver for headphones. There are touch controls on either side, one for turning the light on and off, and the other is to mute the camera. The LED glows blue when the camera is on, red when the mic is muted, and is off when they're not being used. The touch controls are fairly sensitive, but don't respond 100% of the time. It can cause the video bar to wobble when you're on a call, so I'd normally just use software to mute the mic, but it is definitely handy having quick access to the light here. Also useful is the touch slider, which you can use to adjust the brightness of the light. This was surprisingly responsive and works great, although the range of brightness is fairly limited. The video bar is covered in a fabric mesh, which adds to the premium quality and also allows sound to pass through for the built-in mics and speakers, which we'll be testing later. But for now, let me take you through the built-in software. Okay, so this is the AnkerWork software for the B600, and I would recommend you install this so that you have complete control and customization over the camera. So as we go through this, it should give you an idea of the video quality and also the microphone quality coming from the video bar itself. So on the left-hand side here, you can see we have different options for the resolution. You can also select a different angle. So there's a few different options for framing. And my personal favorite one is solo frame. So what this does, as hopefully you'll be able to see, is as I move, it tracks my movement. It does a pretty good job with this. So this could be useful if you're doing, say, a tutorial or a presentation where you'll be moving about a lot. Underneath is anti-flicker. So if you have any lights or screens giving you trouble, you can turn this on. And that's everything for the first tab. On the second tab, these are all of your usual camera settings, so you can adjust the brightness, the saturation, the sharpness, but I personally think they look best in their stock settings. There's also horizontal flip, so if you turn this on, it gives you that reversed mirror image view of yourself as opposed to how others see you. In the third tab, these are all of your light settings, so you can adjust the brightness just as you can on the video bar itself, but you can also change the color temperature, ranging from a cooler white up to a much warmer orange. And obviously you can't really see these changes under these bright lights, but I'll switch over now to a darker scene so you can see the light in full effect. Okay, so right now all of the lights in my studio are turned off and I'm just being lit by the dim light from my monitor, and as you can see, the image is terrible. So if we turn the video bar light on and turn the brightness up to maximum, then you can see this makes a huge difference. I have to say that the color temperature changes were only subtle, but certainly turning on the light makes a massive difference to the image quality. So the final two things to talk about are always on, which essentially means when you open the cover for the video bar, the light comes on, and when you close it, the light goes off. And the last one is automatic light adjustment. So this means that based on the lighting in your surroundings, the camera will automatically adjust the brightness and the color temperature of the light. So this is just a convenient way to have the camera take care of everything for you, so you never need to do any manual adjustments yourself. So in terms of the actual image quality, I think it looks pretty good. I like that it has auto exposure, auto white balance, and those automatic light adjustments built in. So you don't really need to do anything manually to get a good looking image from this camera. Now, obviously it's not going to be cutting edge image quality, there are some 4K webcams out there, for example, but it's definitely going to be a big step up from whatever your laptop has. This side-by-side here shows you the difference compared to my MacBook Pro's built-in webcam, and the quality is clearly much better. Just bear in mind that some conferencing apps like Zoom and Teams will limit the resolution regardless of the camera you have, so you won't necessarily always be able to take advantage of the full 2K resolution. But on a more practical level, the video bar has been very useful as well. As I mentioned, your computer may not have a webcam at all, but also I often use my Mac in a docked configuration. This is a pretty common setup, and it obviously means your webcam is inaccessible, so when you get a video call come in, you're in trouble. But I also sometimes have my Mac open and use it as a second display. So the webcam is usable here, but the people I'm talking to get this weird diagonal on view. I'm looking at them and talking to them on my main monitor, but to them it's like I'm rudely avoiding eye contact, so a centrally placed webcam is much more practical. Okay, so you've obviously been listening to the microphones on the B600 so far, and I'm going to keep recording through it whilst I talk about some of the dedicated microphone features that help to improve the quality on a call. So the first one is auto echo cancellation, pretty self-explanatory, and the second one is auto gain control. And what this is supposed to do is, as you get further away from the camera, it's supposed to increase the gain on the microphones so that your voice volume stays at a consistent level. But unfortunately, as you'll probably be able to hear, I just found that I was getting quieter as I was further away from the camera. I tested this on some direct video recordings such as this one, and also on some FaceTime calls, and I experienced the same thing. So that was a bit disappointing, and it could be the case that this is limited by the application that you're using. What does work really well though is the VoiceRadar feature. So right now I'm surrounded by some loud background noise to try and simulate a noisy office environment. The B600 has smart noise cancellation built in, so it tries to isolate my voice relative to my surroundings, and it does a pretty good job with this. So to give you some context, this is a recording on my MacBook Pro in exactly the same environment using its built-in microphones, and you can clearly hear my voice isn't as well isolated. There isn't as much bass in my voice on the B600, but it was much clearer to hear, which is obviously important when you're making video calls. The final feature to consider are the speakers, and what you're listening to right now is my recorded voice being played through the speakers on the B600. Now obviously this doesn't give you a true representation of the speaker quality, but that's a limitation of demonstrating this on a YouTube video. So I'll cut between the B600 and my MacBook speakers just to try and give you some context. The B600 has two 2-watt drivers inside which face outwards on either side of the video bar. Ideally these would face towards you, but I guess it just wasn't possible to engineer the bar in this way. Still, the sound is nice and clear, and the volume gets pretty high too. The speakers are lacking in bass slightly, especially compared to my MacBook Pro speakers. Though in fairness, those are probably the best speakers inside any laptop. There's an emphasis on the mid-range and voices, and this makes sense since the speakers are designed for work calls and are tuned so that you can clearly hear the person you're talking to. You can route all of your computer's audio through these speakers if you choose, and though I personally wouldn't use them to listen to music or for gaming myself, they're perfectly fine for casual YouTube videos, taking calls, and would make a convenient solution if your monitor doesn't have built-in speakers. I'll give you a music demo now. Again, not that the B600 is designed for this, but just to try and give you a sense of how the speakers sound.
What does perfect even mean? Is there even such a thing? Ooh. Can we switch up all the rules and imagine a utopia?
We've now seen everything this video bar can do, and the B600 retails for $220 or £220. So let's talk about the pros and cons. What I like about this video bar is how simple and easy it is to use. From a practical standpoint, it means I can have my Mac open or closed, so it gives me much more flexibility with my setup. With USB-C it's quick and simple to get set up. I like that the privacy cover means I don't need to tape the lens or take the camera down, and the AnkerWork software is easy to use. The camera's automatic image and light adjustments mean that I don't really need to do anything myself either. I simply open it up and it's ready to be used. The image and mic quality has been great and makes a big difference to my video streaming quality compared to my computer. The all-in-one nature of the B600 also makes this a great portable option when travelling. You might not be able to take all of your regular microphone, speaker and lighting equipment on the go, but you could throw the B600 into your bag along with a couple of USB-C cables. So that's an important thing to consider, especially for people who are often travelling. In terms of drawbacks, one would be that the frame rate is capped at 30 FPS, so for a streamer looking to match the frame rate with their gameplay, this might not be any good. In fairness, this AnkerWork video bar is designed for working environments, but the lack of a 60 FPS option is something to bear in mind. There's also no Windows Hello support, so you can't use this for quick access into your computer. I love that this thing is powered by USB-C. It means I can use my own adapters and not need to use the mains power supply at all, but I don't like that you need to use two cables. The video bar only draws 5 volts and 2 amps, so I would have thought one cable would be possible, and it would have been great to use this through just a single USB-C cable. I think the fact that this is a fairly large and bulky device may be an issue for some as well. Now obviously I'm factoring in the unique all-in-one nature of this device, but this really brings me onto my main concern with the B600. It's designed to be a convenient all-in-one solution, but I suspect that the market for someone who needs this is quite small. Someone who wants to seriously improve their video calls or streaming will already be looking into a comprehensive equipment setup, dedicated lighting, microphones and speakers. A more expensive route to take for sure, but a necessary one since the B600 can't match up to the quality that type of setup would give you. It would, however, give the average person a very good quality Zoom or FaceTime call, for instance, and I can definitely see the benefits of this type of product for that situation. But I wonder, how many people want to spend over $200 to improve those types of calls? Whose family members are noticing your slightly grainy video calls, and whose boss is complaining about your webcam quality during the weekly Teams meeting? This is a market where I'd say most people aren't really too fussed about how good their webcam setup is, and at the same time, it's not going to elevate a streamer setup to the next level either. The B600 sits right in the middle of those two scenarios, where it's not good enough for one market, but perhaps overkill for the other, and that's why I think this market is going to be niche. Don't get me wrong though, there are definitely people who would appreciate and would benefit from the convenience of an all-in-one device like this. If this video bar is going to have better video, microphones, speakers and lighting than your current setup, which for the average person working from home is pretty likely, then sure, $220 could be great value for money. It certainly saves you from the headache of having to address each of these areas individually. So if you want to improve your home video setup and don't know where to begin, the B600 could be your one-stop solution to solve the problem. Just have a think about whether you're someone who can take advantage of all of that before making your purchase. Let me know in the comments though, is this the type of device that you need for your home setup? Leave any questions you have down below, and if you found this helpful, then please give it a thumbs up. My Samsung Galaxy S22 series videos are coming next, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss those. But for now, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.